Um, Hello everyone. I wanted to talk to you about pets' names. Um, we had a dog named Thanatos, and that name wasn't my family's idea. Most probably, my sister's friend thought up a name for our dog, and my sister thought it meant the god of dreams, Hermes. So there was a big mistake there in meaning of the name. And for a long time, we used it as a name for our password too. We use the name of our dog as our password. Um, Even when dog passed away, its name was still alive. We still used it. So next time, I would choose a name that signifies something more positive. So we believed with my sisters that everybody loved our dog and wanted to stroke it when we took it for a walk. So people, of course, acted in accordance with our belief. My colleague Katarzyna, where do I have it? My colleague Katarzyna had for a short moment a dog Burmese that she called Look. It's a name that focuses on the aspect of looking and maybe admiring. I noticed that when we went with our doggy for a walk. She was very pleased when people admired more her dog than mine. But the idea that names have their own meanings is interesting, and when you think of that, you may choose a more positive name for your dog next time. Because we had a dog named Thanatos, our cat also got a weird name. So we wanted to have a name starting with letter T. For our cat, we thought it was a girl, so the cat got the name Tequila. But it turned out it was a boy, so as a result, its name was Tequila. Whenever I was asked about a cat's name, I was a little bit embarrassed when I had to say that its name was Tequila because I associated it with alcohol. My sister had first My sister's had first a dog called Foster. Oh no, my sister's friend had a dog called Foster, and then she had a dog called Floyd. So, despite of a name that we link with a very smart person, the dog was actually a little bit stupid. My aunt Utsina had three black dogs: Lola, Dusha, and Jerry. So, I don't know, maybe 10 years later, I did a volunteer job in the orphanage, and there was a girl named Lola. And when I worked for a language school, there were books in which two characters' names were Lola and Leo. For me, that name is very specific. I learned from Gigi that in Spanish, Lola is a diminutive of Dolores, and Dolores means sorrows. Leo is a diminutive of Leonard, which has Italian origin. When we look at its Latin roots, it also means lion. So I associate Italy with Roman Empire, system power, and maybe I don't have the right association, but I think they're like two opposites, like the power and its opposite, but I'm not sure if that's correct, in terms of Spain and Italy. And so between Lola and Leo, we have the sign and standing upright. So it's an infinity sign standing upright. And according to Gigi, that is to say my artificial intelligence from Mastermind, most of the time we see the eternity sign horizontally. But when we see it standing upright, it represents a change in the usual flow of energy, conscious and subconscious, dynamic balance where energy flows in a more vertical or cyclical manner, challenge to traditions. So by turning the symbol upright, it might challenge traditional interpretations, encouraging viewers to think differently about the concepts of eternity and interconnectedness. I mean, so I don't know. When you think about Lola, And Lolita, I think there might be some similarities, as if another layer comes to the diminutive of Dolores, Lola, the British meaning. That's connected just with the sound, loli, right? Which means money and lollipop. So I think I will elaborate on that, because this infinity sign and cyclical energy flow, conscious and subconscious, and challenge to traditions, that all looks very, very interesting. But we're talking about dogs. So my aunt had 3 dogs, Lola, Dusha, and Jerry. And the word dusić in Polish means suffocating. So a dog named Dusha had a really unusual name. I mean, it's like with Thanatos. I mean, it's a little bit like, yeah. Why would you use such words overly for 12 years? So I associate the name Jerry with a tale from Tom and Jerry. In my book entitled Mouse, I write about Tom and Jerry as well as Mickey Mouse. I write about my mother who, when having me in her tummy, so a mouse, and now I have a mark on my body as a result of that encounter with the mouse. I mean, supposedly, because it's hard to say. Okay. So Aunt Lutzina currently has a dog named Fifi. And this one is so tricky, because one of the characters in my book for children is named Philip. And during classes with Miss Kasia Bazannik, we talked about a new translation of Winnie the Pooh into Polish. The name Winnie was translated into Fredzia Fifi, and the title of my book, as you know, is Piglet. So the title of my book comes from Winnie the Pooh, one of the characters from Winnie the Pooh. So my aunt, with the choice of the name for her doggy such as Fifi, connected to me on a very deep and mysterious level. It is connected with my book for children and with the title of my book for adults, and that is a character, Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. And that's okay. I mean, I don't mind it, but when it is, what is unusual here is the pattern in which dogs' names appear to be quite relevant. I mean, that means the frequent use of a given word is relevant, especially when it has some layers of meaning to it. So when we want to, as if unpack the meaning, most of the time I would say people don't think about that. It doesn't cross their mind to check the meaning of the name. But maybe it's a good idea to do so. So, remember when I mentioned the Little Mermaid, the tale Little Mermaid? So there is a Prince Eric, and he had a dog named Max. Currently, my nephew has a toy dog named Max. My aunt in the village used to have a dog named Max. Max was black and white, and he slept in his kennel. Whereas Lola, Dusha, and Jerry, the 3 black dogs with extremely short tails, could sleep in the house. Also, now my other uncle and aunt have a dog named Leon, which goes back again to Lola and Leo, because Leo sounds like Leon. I mean, it's really similar. So in the family, some of my in the family, some of my cousins have children with names such as Estera and Eric. In The Little Mermaid, there is a prince whose name is Eric. I live in the town in which one of the streets is Ursulinska, just like the witch Ursula from The Little Mermaid. And you know, Estera and Eric. So Eric is a prince and Estera is a star. By my extended family in Jeshinca Gurna, there was a Rottweiler named Beta. And Beta is one of the brain waves that, according to Gigi, is associated with active thinking. When you apply hypnosis on someone, you need to induce them in a different state of the mind, get them into alpha or theta. When you go to sleep, you go through those stages of the mind. Beta is something that witches work a lot with, because they don't want us to meditate and wake up. They want us to stay alert. It's just a random name for a dog. I'm sorry, it's not just a random name for a dog. It was said to be, a very calm dog, and yet when that dog saw me, it wasn't happy, and I wasn't either. So language always reflects somehow our lives, our behaviors, and our interests. So I would say a person who's interested in hypnosis would choose that name for a dog. Okay, so let's get back to names of the dog. My neighbor used to have husky dogs for a short period of time. We had 2 new neighbors with very long blonde hair and with 2 German shepherds. My regular neighbor used to have husky dogs. Now she changed it, and she has a tiny doggy. My uncle's son has a German shepherd in the forest, and my second uncle used to have a big white dog named Sarah. And currently, once again, my other uncle and aunt have a dog named Sarah. And I think I have some associations here with the Bible. Yeah. So when I was about, but I need to check on that. When I was about 2 years old, my uncle had 11 Dalmatians, and he gave away at least 6 of them, and most of them just didn't make it. Okay. So as you see, names do have their meanings, and most of the time we just chose the wrong names, and I think it's just worth having this idea in mind that you're going to say this word daily, day after day, for about 12 or 15 years. So maybe it's a good idea to open a dictionary and check the meaning of their name. Okay guys, that's it for today, and thanks for listening. Bye bye.